But I want to take a brief moment with Gregg Jarrett, as I described him, a recovering lawyer. Moments ago on this program, Senator Rand Paul said essentially that President Trump launching the missiles against Syria last night was illegal and that he needed consent of Congress before he did something like that. As a lawyer, what do you make of that?
He ought to stick to medicine instead of weighing in on the law, and here's why. The Constitution requires congressional permission only for declarations of war. This isn't that. This is something way short of war. Second of all, the War Powers Act specifically allows the president to do this as long as he notifies Congress he did. Third, the 2001 Military Authorization Act also gives the president the power to respond to prevent a future terrorist attack. Well, that's what a chemical attack is, and we have assets in the region that are vulnerable. And finally, precedent. So over the course of our nation, on 125 occasions, presidents have done precisely this, used military force, military strikes without congressional permission. Senator Paul is terribly wrong.
You cannot say that if America fires a gun in anger overseas, you cannot say that that's war.
No, you can't. I mean, look, it has to be something more than that. This is a preventive military action to protect our troops in the region, our many assets there, and obviously for humanitarian reasons as well, for the Syrian people.
It's punishment, isn't it? That's what it is. They drop poison gas on kids.
It's many
The president
things.
says, you're not going to do that again.
It's punishment, and to prevent the act from happening again, this will give Assad pause the next time he reaches for his chemical weapons.
OK, hold on a second. Are we sort of becoming a little chesty here? Our president's not going to take poison gas attacks on kids. We're going to knock him out of the box.
No, it's not that. It's because if you're responsible for 40% of the planet's military spending, you can't do what Obama did for 8 years, which is to mistake the sidelines for the moral high ground. To stand there with your hand on your hip saying, well, if he crosses a red line, but this isn't a red line. Words have to mean something. If you destroy your credibility as a superpower, you won't stay in the superpower business very long.
Greg?
He's absolutely right.
Exactly.
I've got to say that for President Obama, he was schizophrenic. In Libya, he used military force without congressional permission. But in Syria, he shifted and abdicated his responsibility to Congress, knowing they would refuse it, and thus no military strike. And nobody thereafter took President Obama seriously in that region.
It seems that the events around the world are giving America some backbone, a force to be reckoned with at long last, that we're going to stand up for principle and act on it. That's very different from what we've seen.
Well, you need an order maker on the planet, otherwise all the bad guys have the run of it. And that doesn't matter whether it's Iran, the mullahs, it doesn't matter whether it's North Korea, it doesn't matter whether it's some crazy head choppers like the ISIS guys. If you don't have an order maker on the planet, and I understand that many Americans, like yourself, Stuart, don't have an imperialist bone in your body, and you don't want to be imperialist, but you have to have an order maker or the planet goes to hell.